Hi, Kevin. There's something that I want to show you, and you did an awesome job. Okay, I really like this. I really do. The only thing I think that you want to know is if you have a gray car, how do you add color? Okay, and that's what I want to show you. Okay, so what I've done, and let me click away from this, is I've created two more paths. Do you see them? Now let me make a selection of this path just so you can see it. It's all the stuff on the car. I actually forgot to do the chrome handlebars. So while I'm talking here, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just adding those to the path. Okay, let me come around the bottom because I'm not sure what that is. I think it's just a highlight. And now let me come over to this one. Let me grab this one and duplicate it over to here. And I just, to duplicate that, I just held Command Option or Control Alt and I just moved it over. Now I'm going to marquee those points and just shift them in a little bit. Okay. Now what I want to show you is the trick to adding color. Okay. Now the important thing is wherever the sheet metal is, I need to make sure that I can have a selection which only has the sheet metal. It doesn't have the door handles, it doesn't have the back lights, the logos, nothing. All that I want is the sheet metal. So I've done my best, except I forgot another thing right here, which was the red light. So let me make sure I go around that. Now I'm going to show you something, and I think you can handle it, but I'm not going to fully explain it. But I'm going to show you how to combine different paths to form a selection that you want. Okay. You already have, and I'm putting it right there so you can see what I'm going to do. See the car copy one that you have? I'm making a selection of it. Now, I made an accurate drawing of the wheel wells and the bottom of the car. So what I can do, and I'm going to click on that. There it is right there. So I made a selection from this car copy path. Now I want to intersect it, which there's a way that you can subtract, you can add, or you can intersect one path from another to make a selection you want. And in this case, see how this path went all up and around the top of the car? I didn't have to redraw the sheet metal because you already did on the top of the Jeep. But I didn't want the tires. So watch what I'm going to do. If I hold Control, Alt, and Shift, it turns into a little X. Do you see over here in the sheet metal layer that I have? Sorry, I said layer. It's a path. Let me make that a little wider. Do you see over here how I have a sheet metal path? If I hold Command Option, which is Control Alt, Shift, it turns into an X. And all I have to do is click it. And now I've created a brand new selection which only has the sheet metal. But now I have a problem. I have all the parts inside. I've also made a selection right there. I'm sorry, I made a path of all the parts. Now, I want to subtract this one from the one that's on the screen. So I hold Control, Alt, and you can see it turns into a minus sign inside that little hand that's right in the path palette. Okay. Now, if I hold Command Option or Control Alt and click it, I now have created a very unique selection that was based on 3 separate paths. Okay. I'll tell you that Command Shift or Control Shift is to add 2 selections together. Command Option or Control Alt is to subtract one from the other. Now if you hold all 3 keys, Command Option and Shift or Control Alt and Shift, you can intersect, which means to get the middle of what you want. All right, now I'm going to deselect and do it all over again. So watch how I make a selection of the car. Okay, there's the overall car. I'm going to show you by clicking on the sheet metal one that I don't want the upper half. I just want to take the over half. So I want to take the bottom half. So do you see how this path, this blue path, is actually like, I want the in-between shape. I don't want the tires and I don't want this upper thing, so I want the in-between shape, right? Well, that's Control, Alt, Shift, or Command, Option, Shift, click. Now I'm going to go Command, Option on this one, which is Parts, or Control, Alt, and just click. Now, I'm going to show you something else. So I don't have to do all that stuff again, and you will learn this later in the semester. Oh, I'm sorry, it's right here. There is a way to save this selection. I think you might know it, but it's right there. It's right in Channels. So if I go to Select and Save Selection, I'm just going to name it Sheetmetal. And now watch how I have this sheet metal. Now I'm going to show you by deselecting. I'm probably giving you too much information, but I don't think so. So I'm going to show you by deselecting what it looks like. There is what I've made. Now I made it from a combination of these three paths, right? And you can watch this over and over again. Now, if I want to, I can just click back up to the RGB channel and I have it perfect. Now, why did I do that? Well, let me click away from this path, because now all I have to do is Command or Control click the sheet metal channel, which is a saved selection, and I have it. Now, look over here in the layer palette. Let's add color to this little guy, okay? I'm going to find your hue and saturation layer, right there, of the Jeep, right there. I'm going to then find the Jeep, which is right there, and click a new layer. Now all I have to do is just give it any color that I want, any color. Now I'll just try red. So I'll click and I'll just make a bright red, okay? Let me move it up a little higher to make more of a saturated red, and just hit Alt or Option Backspace, or sorry, Alt Backspace or Option Delete, and now I have red. Now let me make it a little bit deeper in tone. Now obviously it doesn't look very good, right? Well, it's going to, because I'm going to change the layer mode. Right now that's on a normal layer mode. Let's try to put it from normal to something like this, which is a transparent layer mode, and you have several to choose from. So you can just keep on going to find the one that works the best. Not exactly sure. There. Overlay is magnificent. So would vivid light be, or not pin light. We can either go to, ooh, that looks good. Soft light looks good, but overlay looks the best. So now I have a cool red Jeep, and look what I can do. Just because it's red, you have put a hue and saturation above it, right? So if I double click the icon, I get my properties menu and I can change color on it. Now, isn't that cool? Now, I'll tell you why it shouldn't be doing what it's doing. I'm going to have to do something. See how it's changing? Oh gosh, I'm so sorry for this. See how the hue and saturation layer is changing the taillights? Well, this is what I have to do. I have to, I don't want to give you too much information, so I'm going to close this. But see the, I'm going to make it wider, and please just follow me on this. You have a vector mask right here, except it's the whole car. Do you see it? Well, I'm going to delete it because we need to have, let me get the channel up. We need to have this as a mask right here. We need to have this as a mask on that layer, on that hue and saturation layer. So I'm going to right-hand click and delete it. Now, all I have to do is add a layer mask. Now, all I basically have to do is make this into the layer mask, but Photoshop lets us do it at the same time, which is awesome. And I want to adjust it so that you see how it's going to be fixed. There. Want it to make it more blue. So here's how we fix it. First of all, I didn't need to add the layer mask and add this black and white image to the layer mask at separate times. I can do it at the same time. So I'm going to right hand click and delete that one. Now, if I make a selection of this sheet metal right here by command clicking it or control clicking it, I can just click back up to the RGB image. Don't let clicking on a channel stop you, okay? And you know you're clicked on a channel, an extra channel, if that turns red over here in the layer palette. Watch how the red will go away if I click right there. Now, all I have to do with this selection active is just add the layer mask. Now, did you see? I'm going to Command Z back or Control Z back. Watch. There it is. And now we have this awesome color of this Jeep, which now can be changed. And if you have to watch this a few times, great. And that's not a big deal. But now let me click the hue and saturation icon, and now we can adjust it to anything we want and get some pretty cool effects that only change the sheet metal. So your job is to watch this and try to do what I did if you want to learn about how do you, and let me turn this off, how do you add color to a gray or white car? This is how you do it. And I wanted to show you that. So let me readjust it because I can't stand that color to something that's prettier. And I'm going to leave it just, ooh, the green, no way. Let's go to blue and just take a little bit of the opacity away from that. Whoops, ooh, how did that extra mask get on there? I must have hit something I shouldn't have. I'm going to right hand click and delete that mask. There shouldn't be two masks on there. Okay, I don't know how I did that. I wasn't paying attention. So let me click on the icon again and let's readjust it, and I hope that has helped you, okay? And if you change the color of this red to something else, all you have to do is select that layer, hold Command or Control and click on this, and then you can put any color you want into that. Let me turn off your hue and saturation. See how I have red? Well, if I wanted it to be a bright yellow, which I'm not sure that's going to look any good, I would just add the yellow. Now I can go in here and just change the color again. Okay, oh, guess I have to turn it on. And now you can see how I can change the color again to get any color I basically want. But I'm going to Command Z back until it's red because I liked that. So one more time, there. So I hope that has helped. And let me turn this on so it's blue, and life is good. And look at how that really adds to this ad. I mean, here is your gray, here is your color. Okay, so watch it a couple times.